Welcome to Live from Saturn. I'm Frank Perrine.
Cody Decker.
Duncan Gale.
And today we're going to be reading or going over a book called Something from Nowhere Around the End.
Very close.
Right.
We will be discussing a movie called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
There it is.
Close. So close.
There it is. You get the gist.
All right, so yeah, let me go over the details. Let's get things exact at the beginning, and then we can completely play around with it afterwards. So yeah, we're going to be reviewing the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is a movie directed by Dan Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. They're a directing duo known as the Daniels, and the only movie that they've done before this was that movie Swiss Army Man, which I haven't seen, but I think you saw it, didn't you?
I saw the trailer, and I'm like, that's all I need to see.
Okay.
Yeah, don't,
Yeah. All right.
No.
So
Yeah.
no good. Okay. So yeah, this movie. So it stars Michelle Yeoh, and she plays character Evelyn Wong, and then it also stars, and so I'm probably going to mess up this pronunciation.
You want me to do it?
Yes.
I'll
yes.
definitely mess it up. I don't
Please,
even know.
Frank.
I don't even know who it is.
But so it also stars Ki Hai Kwan, who plays her husband, Waymond, and. But yeah. By the way, this actor, those of us of a certain generation probably know him best as Short Round from the Indiana Jones movie, and also as Data from the Goonies. And
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Data from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I was like,
I'm like, I
didn't
see
know
that guy in
I
here.
didn't know that at all.
I'm like, did I miss him?
Really? Oh, I thought it. Yeah. The visual in my head was completely different.
Right. But it's interesting because if you know this guy mostly as a child actor, in this movie he looks exactly like what you think he would look like like that child grown up. It's like you can totally recognize him immediately. So the movie also stars Stephanie Sue as their daughter, and then James Hong, who is an actor that you probably know from a lot of things. I know him best as the proprietor of the Chinese restaurant in that episode of Seinfeld, but he's been in a lot of other things. He plays Michelle Yeoh's father, her character's father.
Yeah.
He was also in. Was he in not Dodgeball? Ping Pong, that Ping Pong movie?
Might have been.
Might have been.
Yeah. I didn't see that.
Well, I was going to say Princess and the Frog. No, it was the other one.
Balls of Fury?
Yeah.
Balls of Fury.
No, he's the go-to mature Asian male character in every movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
Romancing the Stone. Wasn't he in that?
Maybe. I
He was
haven't
in
seen
Kung
that.
Fu Panda.
Yes. He's the
Were
dumbest.
you thinking of Kung Fu Panda when you said Romancing the Stone?
No, I actually got that one right. It's with I don't know the stars.
Oh yeah,
Melody
with
Street.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
Kathleen Turner.
Yeah.
He's also in Wayne's World too. He plays Cassandra's father, and he and Wayne have like a fake kung fu fight at one point.
Interesting.
So
He's also in I Am Legend.
No,
Yeah.
he's not.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that was an interesting era. Where it's like we're getting sequels to all these movies that were made 30 years ago.
Well, then you're going to have people watching I Am Legend looking for him.
Yeah.
Where is he?
yeah. And finally, the last major actor that I'll mention who is in this is Jamie Lee Curtis. Is in
Yes.
this, and she plays a sort of adversarial character. Her character's name is Deirdre Beaudeirdre.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think she's usually only referred to by her first name, but that's her full name. So anyway, just the kind of basic plot synopsis of this movie. So Michelle Yeoh and her husband, they run a laundromat, and they are being audited by the IRS, and so they go to the IRS office, and Jamie Lee Curtis is the woman auditing them, and then weird stuff starts to happen.
Yeah.
Where you start to see all of these different alternate universes that both Michelle Yeoh and her husband are in, and the universes start kind of bleeding through into our universe, and it turns out that there is this malevolent force that is trying to destroy all of the universes, and it is revealed that that malevolent force is actually their daughter, so basically what this movie is, I mean, it's kind of hard to give a straightforward plot synopsis of this movie, but yeah.
Well, so all of us are familiar with multiverses and things like that now. Thank you to Marvel and different things like that. So it's basically, one individual, this lady, and there's infinite different universes with her as making different choices in a different universe and splitting off.
Right.
So you have these infinite amount of universes with that character now as something else, a librarian or a movie star or vice versa, because of the choices that she's made. And so this being or this person is trying to destroy all of them. So there's other people in other universes that are jumping into other universes to try to find the one person that could save basically all of these universes.
Right.
That's safe to say. That's a good
Yeah. The bit of background stuff I got that I was like, oh, I didn't get that when I watched the movie, it was kind of about ADHD. And like the actor like found out that they had it because they're like, oh, like this is what the protagonist experience is, where it's like, and that's where like the protagonist is like, oh yeah, you tried being an author, you were like, you got real. He's like, that's like a hyperfixation is the thing in ADHD. So right. You got really into like martial arts for a bit, then you dropped it, and then for her it's like, oh yeah, all your alternate realities are just versions of you that didn't drop it and kept going into those things.
Right. But in the end, I mean, from what I got out of it, this is somebody like a lot of us had just made different choices in their life and very unhappy with where they're at. And I think that's where she was. She just now on just cruise control and taking all that anger out on her husband and everyone else, and have lost respect for everybody because they haven't done what they wanted to do, and they feel stuck in their life.
Right. Yeah, that's a major theme of this movie. Yeah, is just what are the paths that you could have taken, is there any way to sort of get a window into those paths, and so that's that's basically what all of these different alternate universes are, is the infinite number of choices that she could have made in her life,
and
are basically manifested in that. Yeah, so there's one universe where she is a very famous movie star, but it actually gets much weirder than that when you look at the possibilities, because there are also different universes. Like there's one universe where everybody has hot dog fingers.
Yeah.
There's one universe where everybody is piñatas. And there's one universe where life doesn't even happen, and so in this universe, she and her daughter are just represented as rocks. That was just funny. Talking to each other. Yeah.
And so her husband from another universe, they could go into the body of them in their universe. So they could swap over. So he swaps over into her world, and convinces her that she needs to fight these people and that she has the power to do it, and gives her these earbuds. They're kind of big earbuds too. I would think that all that technology and shit, they'd be a lot smaller. But
that's as small as you can get with dimension stuff.
Oh,
there's no universe where they're any smaller than that.
Really?
There's universes where they're bigger headphones.
Really?
Right.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
that's multiverse 101.
Really?
Yeah.
The mechanics of how people jump from one universe to another. There's some interesting stuff going on there, because it basically is presented as though, in order to access another universe, you have to do something very improbable.
Yes.
Yeah. The way the way I thought it was like, you need to do something that only that version of you would have done, and then that gives you a link into that version of you. So it's like when you need to put your shoes on backwards. It's like, now you wouldn't have done that in this world unless you were told to, and now you're going to form a connection with the version of you that did that in that universe.
Oh, interesting.
I thought that's what it was, but then I was reading about it.
That brings out one of the two guys that totally takes another turn.
Yeah. But then it's like, oh, it's just by doing something improbable, it shatters like the.
I think that's what like the Matrix. It would home you in, kind of. But it's cool because you could actually in the movie, if I was a track star in another universe, I could do something weird, chew gum or fall on my face or something, and then open the connection, and then I could get my other person's talent. Right. So then all of a sudden, in my universe, I'm a track star. That was unique. That's probably one of the biggest kind of things that they have that make the movie possible.
Yeah.
Right.
And for a multiverse story, this handles it better than a lot that I've seen.
It does.
I remember, huh?
It does.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because I remember, I played BioShock Infinite, and, the lead writer of that, he said, oh, yeah, I saw Watchmen, and they talked about stuff like that. I didn't really get it, so I thought it'd be, a cool... So, he literally wrote a game based off a premise he didn't understand. And he was like, oh, yeah, did you know about the multiverse? And it's like, yeah, we all know... it's not a hard concept to grasp, man.
Right.
And he's just like, dude, literally in another universe, you're wearing different pants. And it's like, yeah. Yeah, that's not that. So that's my low mark for writing about multiverses.
Yeah, I mean, those of us who grew up reading Marvel comics, it's the multiverse, ho hum.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's like, oh, in this universe, you wearing a different hand. I'm like, yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And
you got to do stuff with that. You can't just say that. Wouldn't that be freaky?
Right.
But that's why, with the hot dog one, the joke was wearing out. But then I'm it stays a real reality, and it it's not a joke. But then they show they go back in time and they show one of the apes with in this universe, one of the apes with hot dog hands just won
against a regular-handed ape.
Yeah, which I disagree. And we know that regular hands wins in every universe.
Oh, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, dude. If it came down to a rock paper scissors contest, we would have easily won.
What they got?
But against
Ketchup,
hot dog
mustard,
hands.
relish.
Yeah. At first I thought that was kind of gross. There were some scenes in that.
Yeah.
But I like how they took kind of the most comedic universe and tied it into very emotional. Big plot to the story.
One of the more serious emotional stories about a relationship was happening within the hot dog universe.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very sort of special thing about this movie in general. Yeah, is that it introduces completely ridiculous, sort of concepts the kind of stuff that you would almost imagine seeing in a satire, a Naked Gun movie or something, but then using those to deal with very sort of serious topics and so forth. And the hot dog finger universe is one example of that, where you just see in that universe people just learn how to use their feet really well, and I mean that makes sense. That is what would happen. Another example of that, I think, is the concept of the Everything Bagel, which sort of ties into the character of Michelle Yeoh's daughter, who is kind of the villain initially of the movie, but then it sort of turns around, and so basically, what happens with her daughter is that her in one universe where Michelle Yeoh was the person who sort of first discovered how to jump from one universe to another. She basically tested that out on her daughter and made her daughter go insane. And so her daughter is now actually experiencing everything everywhere all at once. She is experiencing every single universe all at the same time.
She's omnipresent.
Yeah.
That's funny, coming off of Bullet Train, which basically includes a character being told, we all go through this phase.
Right.
And, and this movie does have, because that is, a part of puberty, which is weird. Which is that everyone has to go through a moment where they realize, what the world is.
Right.
And, all this stuff is happening, and here's, everything's made out of atoms, and we're all,
Right.
And there's a vast void that we don't know what it is. And then you every teenager basically is well, I'm going to dye my hair black now.
Right.
Because this doesn't make any sense. And so, this is, a very elaborate, metaphor for, a teenager being,
Sure, yeah.
taking
absolutely.
in all the information of the world. And, you just have to, move on. At a certain point, you have to, You just have to accept them. Like, well, you have to go to school tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. So it's a sort of illustration of teenage angst, but it's also like because she is experiencing everything and she has access to every single universe. It's like she has the Infinity Gauntlet or something, or at least the Reality Stone maybe. And she's
careful.
and she's able to sort of constantly change things that are going on, and so. It's kind of presented as like this like really cool superpower. I mean, if this were a superhero movie, which it's not, but
It kind of is.
It kind of is.
yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. Coming around to that. Okay, good.
Take some notes down there.
So basically, because she has this experience of life, she becomes very sort of nihilistic, I guess you could say, and so she creates this thing called the Everything Bagel, which is
a cute bit.
Literally a bagel with everything, like poppy seed and sesame seeds, but also all kinds of random stuff, people and so forth from different universes. And the idea is that by putting every single thing on this bagel, the bagel collapses in on itself and just sort of starts sucking everything in from every single universe. And so that's sort of the
In the end, taking everything out.
Right. And that's sort of the predominant image of like, nothing matters, because you can just put everything on this bagel and it all just becomes meaningless.
And it's crazy because I kind of get that from the aspect in every one of her universes. The daughter, she's always kind of treated the same way. That, even though the mom had made different decisions, you never really saw the daughter in some of those aspects of it.
Right.
So the daughter in every universe is treated the same. Therefore, there is no choice. There is no reason to keep on going because I'm always going to end up the same way.
Yeah. Now I'm not a parent.
Yes, I am.
Duncan, are you?
No, not yet.
I'm the only dad. Yes.
Okay. Now
I'll answer your questions.
So for like a story about
No.
okay.
Shut up. I don't want to hear it. That's what I need you to do.
So
That's what you do.
okay.
As a dad, that's it. No, I'm kidding.
All right. So moving on.
No, what was your question?
No, just how'd you feel about this being like? Because I don't know how closely the daughter's sexuality played a role into the theme. Like, how'd you feel about it being like a parent child?
In the culture aspect of it, I could understand it, right? Sure. But what I liked about it is how, in the end, they basically, you can't think of it that way. This is who you are, and you got to do it. From me, I have a trans son, and he is who he is, and I don't question all that stuff.
Marco famously made fun of me for not watching Violet Evergarden.
So
I still remember that.
So in the end, Marco, in the end, for me, it was a cool part of it. But I understand the culture aspect of it, the grandfather and all that stuff, and the challenges of actually coming out and actually telling people, and that's a really big deal. I think it's a lot heavier than I think anything that I've done in my life. To be 15 and have that on you, that you are who you are. And the world looks at it a little bit different, doesn't understand it. So that part of it I really liked. I thought it was well done, because in the end it's like you just do it. It doesn't matter what the grandfather thought, doesn't matter what the mom thought, didn't matter all that. Right. It doesn't matter. This is who I am. This is who it is. And anyone that follows me and comes with me. Anyone that doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it is interesting. Yeah, at one point when Michelle Yeoh first encounters her daughter in this form, as this more villainous form, and she sort of makes an apology and is like, well, your grandfather just is of a different generation. You just can't understand that, and her daughter's response is, oh, you're still hung up on that in this universe?
Yeah.
It's like there's
Yeah.
so much higher stakes things going on right
Yeah.
now that it's like,
Yeah. And I mean, I liked.
Yeah, the world is ending. It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I just can't accept that part. It's
Right,
like,
right.
Oh, we're not.
That was cool. I really liked. I liked the movie, and I just think where it got me was, they tried to put too much of that into this whole burrito, where there was a lot of, you know, things, relationship with her husband, relationship with her daughter, relationship, how everything, and of course it makes sense. That's her universes. So all those problems coalesce in having the bigger issue. But that's the part where, I don't know, I felt almost a little tricked. It's like, okay, I get it. Okay,
Right.
I get it. Okay, I get it. You know, I mean, how many lessons do you got to teach me? I
Right.
mean, I mean, just the one with the daughter and her relationship, that it could have done it just with that, in my opinion.
right.
I liked the dad character. I like how he
I love
wasn't
the
like
dad character.
because I found out like it was originally going to be a Jackie Chan film. So
Really?
yeah, so like the actress playing it, she was also a martial artist who became it. So it's like
Yeah.
the roles they serve is the same, but like so everything got like gender flipped. So originally that was going to be like a mom
really?
character.
Oh, I got you. Well, I know
oh.
Jackie Chan doesn't do any stunts and stuff around like laundromats or machinery.
Yeah, he famously does very serious.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he hurt himself really
right.
bad.
Oh, did he?
In a
Yeah,
movie called Dragon Run. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just
But
kidding.
that like you don't trust this guy, and this guy will rope you in. There's universes where the things he says did happen, and this is
Yeah.
we're never in those ones.
That's,
Yeah, no.
That's mind bending.
But yeah, like the whole like doing like I'm borrowing the skills of a sign twirler to fight.
Yeah.
Like that is like that's definitely a Jackie Chan
Yeah.
in mind thing. But
Oh, and I love that part of it. I think, and I like how the fact that they didn't even really. Okay, as you went, you had main characters that you could see that she would pull in, but towards the end, you didn't know who she was pulling in, but it was kind of cool.
Right.
You know, she would just do something, hit the button, and then bam, be someone else, and I thought that was really cool.
well, and just like with the dad, what I liked is he wasn't like a loser.
No,
Because they do show like, oh, she's worried about taxes.
He was a
and
loving
he's,
husband.
and he's goofing
Oh, yeah.
off. But it is just like he's just an upbeat, positive person.
Dude.
Right.
So yeah, he is just that's what his role in their dynamic is.
I saw me, dude. I mean, just easygoing. He was a great dad. He was
Yeah,
a great-
like
yeah.
because in the beginning you see him like dancing with a customer, and it's like, oh, he's just doing this all the time, and he's not focused on work. And then like, oh, in this universe where she never married him, look how much more successful she is. But then you see him, and he's like, I'm also doing better financially.
Yeah.
So it is like, yeah, she was bringing him down too.
Yes.
But also it's like, oh, but he was more open to being jokey and fun-loving with her around.
Right.
So it's
And
like
in the end, he was the key, part of the key, to make her who she wanted to be intended to be. But that's what I mean about wrapping too much stuff in the burrito. I was just like, okay, I mean, I get it. But I guess that's the way that the movie was intended. I mean, it's a whole universe, so it was intended to multiple task you into it.
Sure.
the raccoon bit was my favorite.
Oh,
That was great.
Rakakuni.
I was like,
pretty
that's a
good.
funny bit, and then by the end of it, I'm like, I hope I hope those two make it. I'm rooting for them.
Oh yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even the husband, dude. He didn't even think she was crazy. Think
Right.
about that. Think about that. If you're talking about seeing people with raccoons on their head, and then they're both asking, "Was that the raccoon? Do you see the raccoon again?" That was great.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that scene. Yeah. The raccoon and the guy are even like singing this sort of song that you would expect to
great.
see in that sort of Disney Pixar movie. It's great.
The googly eyes was a trip because in the trailer they put so much into it.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was going to be
Yeah.
a major thing in the movie,
Right.
and it really wasn't.
It's like two things.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the dad just does that to like
a
three
minor
things. Yeah.
recurring
Yeah,
thing.
that's the part
yeah.
that was kind of weird.
It comes into play like right at the end with like the idea of
Yeah.
like the third eye. But it's like, oh, this wasn't enough in the. I forgot googly eyes were a thing.
Right.
Right. And then I'm like, well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was a good thing. Because I would have got sick of the googly eyes every 5 minutes. So I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, the sort of journey of this woman figuring out her relationship with her husband, and then her relationship with her daughter. Yeah, I mean, I guess that sort of constitutes the main plot. But I mean, the stuff with her husband, you know, there's that one line where she says to him, "I saw my life without you."
Oh, that was
it
brutal.
was beautiful.
So
and
brutal.
and I mean I've seen this movie in the theater twice, and both times I saw it, like with that line, like people in the audience, like there's like audible gasps. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, when I heard that, I mean, dude, yeah, because you think to yourself, how many times has my old lady thought that?
Yeah.
When you do something dumb, it's like, I saw my life without you, and it was beautiful.
Yeah,
Right.
It was great.
I had a
Great
dream.
without
I
you.
had a dream where you weren't in my life.
And I was the best ever.
Yeah.
I was doing scrapbooking
was
and everything.
Yeah, that's a brutal one. Because part of it too is she's not mean spirited about it. She's just like,
Yeah.
oh, you should have seen it. Without you, my life was so much better.
Yeah.
And then you see that get expanded on. It's like, well, that wasn't really true.
Right, because
Oh, not at all.
yeah,
Not at all. Because
yeah.
it like you said, you saw it from her point of view, but also from his point of view. I mean, he's always been there. He was always there, no matter what she went through.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, she was better financially, and she was famous, but she wasn't happier.
Right. And she still in that universe was looking for him, and he just said, "See you later, baby."
Yeah, like, that was like good for him.
That was great. I was like,
yeah.
if I could do that. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it was good.
Yeah, and I mean that seems to be a major thing that happens in this movie over and over again. Is that it's like if you see something from one perspective, it's bad, but from another perspective, it's actually good. You know?
did a great job
and,
with that.
and sort of over and over with that, and that's again going back to the Everything Bagel. That's like the sort of dominant perspective of nothing matters. But then at a certain point, it sort of turns around and it's like, well, if nothing matters, then we can actually just do whatever we want and just enjoy things. And there's actually a freedom in nothing mattering.
Right.
And I actually even tried to look up, is there an opposite of nihilism? And there doesn't seem to be a specific term for it.
This is the one bit that I have. All
Okay.
right? So anti-nihilism is basically what the dad represents. But the funny part is, because nihilism is, I don't know how to pronounce it, Friedrich Nietzsche? Nietzsche's-olio. His is like, oh yeah, the world has no inherent meaning.
Right.
But in his original philosophy, it's like, but that means that what we do matters even more.
Sure.
So because we don't have any divine purpose, that means the fact that we exist and we can do things means we should choose. People saw the first part, they didn't follow on the second part.
Right.
So ironically, an anti-nihilist is what the original meaning of nihilism was by the guy that invented it.
Right. Okay.
So a nihilist, the dad is an anti-nihilist, which means he's a nihilist in the original sense.
Mm-hmm. This was actually expressed best by the character of Angel on the show Angel. If nothing that we do matters, then all that matters is what we do.
And if you don't believe it, you're in denial.
That's right.
I like
Which
it. That was
ain't
great.
just a river in Egypt.
Yeah.
It's like Disneyland. It's a paradox. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about. Because it's like, oh, the daughter's basically going through that. I mean, I'm assuming everyone went through that experience. I went through it.
Oh, sure.
Where you're like, what do you mean? And they're like, yeah, so there's like billions of people. Everyone dies. There's like people die all the time.
Right.
We don't know if there's an afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
We hope, fingers crossed. And I'm
Yep.
what am I supposed to do with all this? So like, like the Ubermensch. Nietzsche did the Ubermensch too.
Yeah.
Part of that, got adopted by some bad eggs.
Oh,
But
yes. Yeah.
part of it was like Superman is an Ubermensch, partly because one of the criteria is also doing good for people.
Sure. Yeah.
So the Ubermensch isn't like, oh, it's like a super strong guy. It's like someone who's like strong in body, mind, and spirit.
Right.
And so Superman is like, he does good because he wants to. That makes him an Ubermensch,
But-
just as much as being able to punch someone.
Yeah, but Superman also has a very strong ethical code, and as much as he is using his strength, he's always constantly holding back because obviously if he used his full strength, he would just be like killing people all the time.
I thought you were talking about Uber driver that doesn't like Christmas.
That's me. And
I thought there was an Uber Grinch, right?
I like that.
Uber
I'm
Grinch.
appreciative.
Yeah.
It's the Ubermensch. I'm trying to think of a Grinch quote. I got nothing.
What do I wear?
Okay. Let's all watch the Grinch.
Anyway,
after this.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
Grinch is great.
Yeah. So yeah, the daughter's going through her nihilism, which
Right.
the parents are like, I don't know. It's like that thing where I'm like, did everyone forget going through these things when they were kids?
Well, the whole thing is it's to me, I get out of it, of course, and it takes it to a different thing, linking all the universes, right? Mm-hmm. But in the end, every kid goes through that where they feel like their parents and everyone doesn't understand them. What is all this worth? It's all coming out the same old thing. But what I liked about the movie is they put also responsibility onto the mom. Part of how her daughter reacts is because of the mom.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's funny but kind of truthful. The dad kind of is this absent fun player, which
Yeah, like he's not expected to talk to the dad either.
right. But but lots of times that's the way it is.
Sure.
Mom's the one with the kids all the time, so mom's the one that deals with all that. Mom's the disciplinary. Mom's this.
We're gonna have to get some WD-40.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something. We're not even on the bullet train. But so I mean, I'm not saying that's a normal, but I'm just saying, I liked how they did that. It wasn't just all on the kid, because lots of times in the movies they'll make it seem like it's the kid's fault when you're raising this kid from a baby, so it will be influenced by what you do. So you do take responsibility in the way your kids act.
Well, I thought it was interesting that like the daughter was just going to tell the grandpa herself. She just forgot the word for it.
Right.
So it is like
Yeah, but the mom was always there. I mean,
And she,
think
like,
about
cut
it.
her
Yeah,
off.
yeah. You need to lose weight. You need to do. I mean, she was always just, and it had nothing to do with the daughter. It had to do with the mom and where she was in her life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's why I think she did all those things, because she hated where she was. And they even made a reference in the movie where he goes, "Yeah, you're the only not loser, but you're the only one that's done nothing
yeah.
with your
Right,
life.
right.
You've done nothing with your life, and that's why you're so important."
Right. It's like she has the most sort of infinite potential because she hasn't actually done it.
Succeeded in anything.
So
So I'm like, where's my turn? That's what I thought. When I saw this, when's my turn?
So I'm like, oh, so it's a good thing I'm doing.
So it's
this.
good thing.
Yeah.
right.
So I don't have to worry about anything.
No.
Eventually something.
Eventually something's going to happen. But I really liked, I like movies that are really intelligent like that make you think of different things, whether they wanted you to go that way or not. Because the way they did it, it doesn't matter if they wanted you to go that way or not. You come up with your own conclusions in this movie sometimes.
Right.
And I think that was great. I think that was really good. For me, was it too kind of slapstick sometimes? Sometimes. Even though I know it was telling a story, I tell you, in my movie mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, dude, you could totally imagine this as an action film.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, you could totally see that, where you're jumping universes and doing all that stuff, and that would be really cool to see. But
yeah, being like I thought it was going to be that. I thought it was going to be jumping across universes, like fighting these things, and it was nice that it was about family, and I liked what it had to say. But I was like, I thought this wasn't going to be a.
yeah,
I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be a different movie based off the trailers. I
like
was
John Wick and The Matrix.
yeah, Quantum Wick.
Quantum Wick. That really doesn't sound good. That sounds like
Oh,
your sanitary. I don't know what. Oh, Quantum Wick.
Quantum Wick.
That will work.
Yeah. I have like a
Almost like Marge Simpson.
Quantum Wick.
I don't even
I can't
know.
do Marge. No, I have. I'm very distrustful of A24. I haven't liked a lot of their movies.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Since? Which one?
I liked the experience of Green Knight until it ended. I was like, oh, I thought something else was going to happen. I feel unsatisfied usually when I watch those movies.
Really?
I know I've seen a couple. I saw X, and I was just like, this was just someone's fetish that they made into a movie. Like, I don't know if you saw that, but it's supposed to be like a slasher movie, and it's just not. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. And it's like, it's shot beautifully. But then I'm watching, I'm like, what? What do you mean that just happened? That doesn't, this is lazy. So I was going into this, I was like, I was expecting not to enjoy it.
No, I get it. I get it. Because, I mean, how many movies have they done? Right?
At least 3.
Yeah. What are they again?
Hereditary, which I didn't see. I saw Midsommar, which I didn't enjoy.
Okay.
I saw X, which I didn't enjoy. Green Knight, which I thought I enjoyed until it ended. And I'm sure something else.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I went in, I ended up, this is my favorite A24 film.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any issues with it besides, like, I don't think I'm going to watch this again.
No, I mean, I really liked it. And like I said, even being slapstick, there were parts where it reminded me of Mighty Python. And, and it was great. I mean, the whole jumping around, if you're familiar with Mighty Python, they jump all over the place.
Sure.
And it's just funny like that. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's a very strong, very thoughtful, very creative movie where, I mean, you really will see things that, like, you've never quite seen before in any other movie. And that's cool. Yeah, I mean, in terms of its weaknesses, I would say it's maybe probably 10 to 15 minutes too long or something. I mean, towards the end of it, you do get to a point where it's like, okay, seems like it's over. Oh no, it's going to keep going. Okay, we're going to keep doing this for another couple laps. Okay, but I mean that's pretty minor. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's very strong.
I loved the way it ended, especially with how are we going to defeat this? Do we want to just? When are we going to go into full spoilers? Or?
I think we've been spoiling it.
We've been
from the
doing
beginning.
pretty much.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Okay. Do you have like a little noise you got?
With a spoiler?
Yeah.
Oh, God, what would it be? It'd be a jump? I don't know. I'll just say spoiler.
Yes, we're jumping
Just easy spoiler.
Jumping into the universe of spoilers.
Oh, I like that.
But how
like
they're
a sound effect, Spoiler.
Oh, like a spaceship?
Yeah, something like a teleporting or something. There you go. We sound like a Muppet.
Anyway, folks, I enjoyed the ending, which resulted in not her using her ability to learn martial arts from another universe, but like fulfilling people's wishes to like get them to stop fighting.
Well, no, she realizes what her husband said. Because she stabbed her husband with a piece of glass, and at that point, she's just like, I don't really give a shit. Sorry, I don't blank it out. I don't really care.
Right.
And I'm not going to care in any universe. Right. And that's when she signs the divorce papers. She starts doing all this crazy stuff, and it ends up where he still stands there with her, and he says the whole power is us together, through this. And she realizes, I just need to fulfill and love people. I think that was a great message. That part.
Yeah, she helped save Rakakuni after exposing him and getting him arrested.
Right.
Yeah.
And then with her daughter, like, she kind of realizes that she needs to like let her daughter go and do her own thing, but then also she sort of turns around and then comes back and like supports her daughter, but she realizes that she supports her daughter by letting her daughter do her own thing. I guess that's sort of what happens.
But I always go through that teenage "let me go, dad" thing,
right?
From War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise, and all these movies. Dad, let me go.
I'm gonna go join the alien army.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Dad, let me go.
Right.
And the dad is always in the end, or the mom's always in. Okay.
Yeah,
and the kids always come back,
Yeah, he just dies immediately.
And then we don't see the after part of that, where you should have never came back. You know what? You suck. We never see that part of it.
The part that happened
to all. You should have died in the alien invasion. I mean, you don't see
right.
Yeah, the classic common thing that happens to all of us.
Dude. Whenever the kids come back from alien invasion, dude, pains in my
never
rear.
Works out.
I like how when like it was like she was like finally like okay, she tells the grandpa and he just needs like a minute. He's like okay.
Oh, okay.
It was also like he wasn't like a terrible dad.
Yeah, so maybe that's another message. We should give old people more credit.
Yeah, give me credit.
They're more.
Give me what?
They're more open-minded than we think.
Because I don't have a lot left in my mind, son.
Yeah,
that's why. What?
Yeah, I like that you're not doing your young guy voice you usually do, and now you're just back to your real voice.
Yeah, my real voice. I don't know.
You finally dropped the character of Frank.
Yeah. Who are you guys? What am I doing here?
What are any of us doing here? And that's the question.
That is the question of this movie. Yeah.
No, but I thought it was a good movie. I had a lot of problems with it because it's weird because you wanted, at least for me, I could see this movie so many different ways, and then I would want it one way and want it another way, and then I would get what they were doing, and it'd kind of disappoint me, but then I'd like it. And so, I mean, at least that part was kind of cool. It kind of took me on a little road.
I mean, there are a lot of parts where they kind of like tease you. It's like they show you one really interesting universe for like 1 second, and it's like,
Like
I'd like to see more.
yeah,
of
like
that.
they show them arguing in the piñata world, right?
Right.
And it's like, one of them, the whole body drops off, and they're still talking. You're like, well, who's hitting him? Are they the piñata's hitting him? What kind of sadistic crap is that? You know, I mean, totally.
Yeah, there could be an infinite number of spin-off movies.
Yeah.
And, each one takes place.
But
in its
what I
own.
do like is that if you think of just the writing and the amount that it took to make this movie, and keep it all on track is crazy, even to the point where in the hot dog finger world, right? They show them using their feet, and then they show Jamie Lee Curtis's character using her feet. And she has a brace on, just like the same brace she has on her right hand in every other universe.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
I like, too, that, like, in this universe, she's married to who initially you assume is the cranky old IRS agent.
Right.
And it's like, in another world, you could be married to that person. You guys could be happy together.
Yeah, and that actually goes back to what you were talking about earlier with doing the improbable things to jump, and how those improbable things have some kind of connection. And and there's one point where she needs to tell the Jamie Lee Curtis character that she loves her, but actually mean it.
Well, because it comes from a totally different universe,
Right,
and then in
right.
the end, she even communicates that and goes that part was really cool.
Yeah.
The one part that a little crazy is when they showed those awards on her desk. I saw them and I went, okay, so this is gonna come back somewhere.
Those look like something else.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a funny
Yeah.
joke about the IRS. And it's like, isn't that what they do to people? Like, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
I did not expect it to be like a plot element.
Oh, I totally did.
You did?
Oh, the shape of it looks like a plug of some sort.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Come on. Come on.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I know nothing about that. Yeah. Anyway, that's a meme waiting to happen. At least it's not against me. It's against you, dude.
Yeah, bring it on.
Whoa.
We got a section in
Whoa.
the Discord. Go ahead and
All
make
right.
those memes. We got one about you just dunking on Mistborn.
I know. I know. But that's kind of true.
We'll call you Duncan. No?
Duncan?
Story of my life.
Yeah.
People getting my name wrong.
I mean, for me, I'm always going to get names wrong. So when I'm talking to people, I go, I've been calling you Dexter, right? So,
Because I seem like a serial killer.
no, not that Dexter.
Okay.
The Dexter, the scientist Dexter.
Okay.
Which is better, right? It's better than a serial killer.
Yeah, at this point, I look forward to seeing how you like get the words like not quite right, but you get the spirit of things.
I've been doing
In
that for
titles,
years.
yeah,
I don't
just-
know what it is.
John dies at the end was Jane
I don't know.
kills at the beginning. You would
Yeah, something. but going back to this. So I thought for sure I already knew it was coming, and when it came, dude, it was the funniest thing.
Yeah.
I was like, he's not, and it was great. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. And then like the second guy, like where the second guy gets like the dramatic like jumping on it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Right.
Yeah, but
All right, yeah, this
but then
is-
the other guy didn't make it, but he did something with
he just did
something else.
Yeah.
You know, which was it was just funny, and that whole part was kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy, but I get it. It's. I mean, it's funny. There was a lot of thought process, I think, with this whole movie, and even down to that last scene. It's like there's all these people in your way,
Right.
to make that, to stop you from doing what you're doing with your kid or whatever. So now I could be totally wrong. I mean, it could be like the guy that wrote Moby Dick. He probably just wrote a whale story. But nowadays, we put all this other perspective. You know, the whale represents life, and it'd be funny to go back to the original writer. What did you mean by this? I just wrote a book.
I just hate whales.
I just everyone whales.
I wrote a guy who just hates whales as much as I do.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe I was out of whale blubber.
Yeah.
I didn't like sperm whales. Gray whales.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah, don't. Anyway, back on task. So, what do you think? Overall?
Overall, I liked it. I'm just like I don't know when the next time I'm gonna see this mill because it seemed like it was long. I don't know if that was just me.
It's a bit long.
I definitely won't see it again. Not because I didn't like it. I want. It's like one of those things that once is enough. I'm cool.
It was an experience, and you got it.
It was experience. It was an experience.
Yeah,
Like,
if I was gonna show someone a movie, if they were like, "Oh, I want to watch it," I'm like, "Oh, I'll watch it with you." But yeah, on my own, I'm not gonna.
yeah, like there's this movie right now called Finch.
Finch.
Yep. And it's kind of a sleeper. It's from last year. It's with Tom Hanks, and I've probably watched that movie 7 times. Every time I watch it, I feel a little bit more different about it. And it's, but I don't think I would do that with this one, even though there's a lot of content that you could go back and I saw this. Oh, this means that. I think maybe it was just too long for me.
Well, yeah, I watched it twice, and I think it does reward a second viewing if you're interested in doing that. But if not, that's okay. But yeah, because I think I mean this is obviously one of those movies where it begins with all of this weird stuff happening, and you don't have any idea what the hell's going on at first, and then it's slowly revealed. And so watching it again and seeing what happens at the beginning, then you can kind of see a little bit more. Now I can sort of see why that happened, and
Maybe I should watch it again without the online gambling ads in it.
You know what's funny?
But
I've been getting those ads, and I've been like, you know what? I can see them like getting like better production value and stuff.
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
there's
like,
some of them that are really
yeah.
good.
I'm like, these
the guy
are like
with the blender. He throws it in the blender.
I'm like,
out comes out cash
for a complete scam. Like they're really putting the work into these.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's its own. Like I'm rooting for those guys to keep somehow they're getting money out of people, and they like it.
And I would rather that commercial than the one that just floats around the screen. And I'm like, dude, you're totally in the way right now.
No, yeah, like 1xBet. I'm like, this seems like an official company at this point.
I know.
I don't know any. I don't go to those sites. So.
Not that I know anything about it.
Where'd you?
That's
watch
what
this?
I hear. That's what I hear.
I watched this in a movie theater.
Interesting.
Legally.
Whoa.
It's like a library.
Is that
That's right. Yeah, it's a place where people used to go
has
to
this
watch
big
movies.
screen, and they make this thing called popcorn.
That's right.
And
No, I watched it in theaters. This is a good movie to watch in theaters because when I was watching, there was just everyone was having fun, and just one guy next to me was just like having the time of his life. So I was like, all right, yeah, good. I was like, I'm happy you're enjoying this.
Right.
so me, I think, like I said, did I already tell my opinion? I think it did a lot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch it again, but I think it's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I think it's a good movie to watch, and I don't think you could say to somebody this is what it means. And I think it's pretty
Yeah, the message is clear.
Yeah.
So that's why it helps that like it's also visually enjoyable because it's like it's telling the story here. So if you watch it again, and according to the professor, you'll get some little details.
I think so. Yeah.
I like the bit about the cream cheese. I'm like, oh, is that like a joke? They're like, no.
Oh yeah, no.
And it's like
in this universe, all of the cows were killed. So
all my in-laws are dead.
Oh, hey-o.
Yeah. All right. That's all I wanted to do.
Cheap joke.
Hey. So how do you feel about
I would strongly recommend this movie overall. Yeah, I think it's very special, very unique movie. It's going to make you think about a lot of things. Yeah.
Special.
on a scale of plain to everything?
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'll give it everywhere all at once.
I'll give it heavy poppy seeds.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I got a couple comments.
Yes, let's do the comments.
We're ready to it. This is from Cheesy's12.
Cheesy's12, what's up?
If you're taking recommendations, I would love to hear you discuss the Code Alera series.
Oh my goodness, dude. Okay, check this out. I'm just kidding. I don't know to think about it.
Oh, okay. I was like, where could this possibly be going, Frank? Do you know about the book? I have the book.
Frank knows about this. That makes one of us.
I know about that series. It was written on a dare, or it was like a challenge.
Really?
The argument with authors is it's like, so this is interesting. So it's like, well, it's like having a good idea doesn't matter if you don't write the thing.
If you don't execute it correctly.
Yeah, so it's better to have a bad idea that you actually write well than a good idea that you're like, oh, I'm an idea man, or you don't do anything with.
Gotcha.
So this author was arguing that, and the guy was like, all right, he's arguing that with like this guy on a forum, and he says, give me your worst idea. Mm-hmm. And the guy said, Roman legionaries meets Pokemon. And the author said, all right, I'm going to write, it's now a 6-part series, I think, where he was like, he wrote it just to prove to someone that you can get the stupidest premise and make it a good story.
Wow.
So imagine if he wrote it bad.
Wow.
Oh, that's crazy. That sounds
is
pretty
crazy.
cool. Now I'm interested in reading it.
The whole series is an FU to this guy. So yeah,
Wow.
just some guy online he was arguing with.
But you know the guy online, he loves it.
Yeah, the
Look at
guy's
this
like,
book. It was for me.
yeah, he wanted that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I bet a stupid idea would be this. And he's like, yes.
You know that Stan Lee did that with one of his early comics as well. I think it was with Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos.
I didn't know
It's
that.
like, come up with the stupidest title for a comic book, and he did, and it was still successful. Yeah.
Well, it's still cloudy on what exactly Stan Lee was involved in, what he wasn't. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was brilliant at saying, "Hey, I think a guy with spider powers would be cool. Do that."
Well, he almost sounded like him there. Wow, that's a pretty good impression, dude. I thought Stan Lee was sitting right here.
Excelsior!
I was gonna say, yeah. Did you end up paying the guy for Spider-Man? Actually, his family finally ended up getting money from that, so which is good.
That's good.
We also got Diego Alvarado,
Who
who says you guys should read 131 Days of this of the same author. And they also wrote Majestic 311. I read those reversed.
Really?
So those are also some books. He didn't give any details, and I don't know nothing about them.
Well, that sounds cool though.
But
I
they've been added to the list.
like so I could go on there and read them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Which, by the way, folks, if you're in the Discord, I'm in there. I try to be on there every day. There's just everything. Video games, comic books. So.
And I was out for the last 3 ones, art stuff, but I'm definitely back.
Which, by the way, Frank, you might like this. Paperback art says Frank is so cool with 4 exclamation points.
Oh, I thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to try to do actually some more stuff. So if you guys want to see a specific thing, just go to the Discord, throw it out there. And it doesn't matter, blend it up. If I got time, I'll do a sketch of it. If you want a Pokemon dressed as a Roman Legionnaire, I could do it.
Wow.
We did get a comment by Alexander Arts, a classic
Alexander Arts
audience member of ours.
I like it.
Who says, ooh, a guest. And I believe that was referring to you, Duncan.
Yeah. Well, thank you for acknowledging me, and for better or worse, I may be more than just a guest. From
Yes.
You've been guessing for a while.
Yeah. I'm the guest that never leaves. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it actually just makes us a lot stronger than it. With me and my tight schedule with art and stuff like that. Sometimes I could be here, sometimes I can't. So, the professor brings a new addition to the team.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So he's not a guest. I don't know if that's clear, Alexander.
Now we could be talking about me. No, I'm just kidding.
So that's it, Duncan. You got a. Oh, by the way, we're doing Moon Knight next week.
Okay, Moon Knight.
Next week we'll be talking about that.
I can't wait till next week to give all my just amazing Moon Knight news.
All right.
So stay tuned for a full Moon Night.
Full Moon Night, or I might be giving you a full moon.
Oh my God!
Whoa.
Just kidding. It's all. Hey, we're not visual anymore, so they can imagine.
Yeah, and it's happening for us right now. Right. Duncan, you got an outro for us? I like that. This just turned into this is now your obligation.
I mean, everything is happening for me, and I'm so confused. And an outro is happening while an intro is also happening. And oh my God, and every podcast is happening simultaneously.